How's it going, everybody? Fear the Dark Wolf here. Gonna do another, rant video. We're gonna talk about how they've been recently skewing things for requirements to make it feel like it's incredibly difficult to achieve as killer and super easy to achieve as survivor. And then the other side of it is the amount of rewarded blood points for whatever task that your time is being used to complete. I started this yesterday, but I didn't really get to it. I do have screenshots from then that I will be putting into this, and we will just be discussing the weird chasm between survivor tasks and killer tasks. Let's get into it. Okay, so Black Banquet, this community quest, right? It's pretty daunting. They want 100 million trials in the Black Banquet. So far, after 2.5 weeks, they have gotten around 85 million. Now, just some rough math. Um, if you take the 85 million and you divide that by 5, because that's 5 players who are playing the match, right? That's about 17 million people, right? It's not individual people, but that's how, like, it could be the same people, but 17 million times, right? Roughly. And you divide that by 5 for each individual person in the match. That means 3,400,000 have been killer players. And you multiply that by 4 to get the 4 survivors, and that's 13,600,000 survivors, roughly, have played, right? And everybody knows it's a 4-to-1 ratio, right? So, just in these banquet things alone, the first one was wild to me because as killer, you had to hook 30 survivors, and that is unique survivors. You cannot hook people twice, and that count as 2. So for each game, you could only get 4, right? So they're expecting you to play several games to get to that 30, right? It's about 7.5 games to get to 30 hooks. That's if you hook everybody in once, right? Plus, you have the event working against you, so sometimes, you might not hook anybody. Maybe you only hook one person. Who knows? Depends on your skill level and who you're going against, right? But survivors only needed to unhook somebody 5 times. So they could do that in 2 games very easily. So 2 games for survivors, 7.5 games for killer. And this one thing right here. And in doing that, you got 10,000 blood points, which is nothing. And if you look at the dailies, these cycle every day. So, example here, hit 20 survivors with basic attacks. And now, I can't remember if this is just hit someone 20 times or if you have to hit different survivors 20 times. I feel like you just got to hit them 20 times in one match. I don't think it's specific to you need to hit 20 different survivors. And then you need to heal one health state as a survivor. So think about that. As a survivor, you need to heal one person, one time. That's it. And the killer has to hit people 20 times, which is whatever. That's the role, right? But that's a big jump in requirement for the same amount of blood points, and you only get 5,000 blood points for that. Think of that in context, right? You have to do this task. This one, you just have to earn 30,000 blood points, and you get 5,000 blood points. You don't need to do anything. This is like just play the game, you get these points. This is do these things, you get these points. Same thing up here. Be chased for 30 seconds as a survivor, which, is not super difficult. You should be able to do that in one game, if not two, right? For 5,000 blood points. The killer has to chase people for 180 seconds. So 5 times as long as the survivor's requirement for the same amount of blood points. Okay? Now, this one, do 10 skill checks, which is just sitting there waiting and pushing a button. You get 5,000 blood points. Or, as the killer, you need to go and kick 5 generators. Right? Some of the other perks work towards this, but still, it's like you have to intentionally do a thing, whereas the survivor thing is a byproduct of what they're supposed to do. And you could argue, yeah, killers are supposed to kick gens, right? But that takes time away from the chasing. So you kind of plan when and when not to kick a generator, because it sometimes doesn't benefit you to do that. Now again, these are just the dailies. These are everyday things for 5,000 blood points, once a day, every day. Okay, we go back to the banquet. This one is carry survivor over 500 meters. Or escape chase 10 times. That's just a wild difference. Because to pick up a survivor and carry them that far, or that survivors that sort of a distance, you need to be downing people and walking very far with like agitation and iron grasp to get that. You have to intentionally try to get that. Survivors just have to escape a chase. That's it. Again, that's their goal. Their goal is to not go down. It's not the killer's goal to carry people across the damn map. And again, you only get 10,000 blood points for doing it. This one is whatever. Hit survivors 60 times. It's whatever. Still, 10,000 blood points. This one, all they needed to do was eat the friggin' food. Eat the food, 10,000 blood points. Hit people 60 times, 10,000 blood points. It's just, they don't make any sense. And then you have this one that was down 30 survivors. 30 survivors. Which most likely is only 4 per round, because there's 4 survivors in a round. These kind of ones is never just down people 30 times. It's down 30 survivors. So that's 7.5 matches again. Or heal 5 health states as a survivor. You can heal 5 health states in like 1 or 2 games, right? If this counts from the ground to be standing, you can do it in one friggin' game, or 7.5 games for 10,000 blood points. And then again, we go back to the chasing thing, right? For twice the blood points, right? So we got it right here. 5,000 blood points, 10,000 blood points. Be chased for 200 seconds. Remember, this one is 30 seconds. So for double, you would think it would be a minute, which is 60 seconds. But it's not. It's 200 seconds, which is 3 1/3 minutes, right? So that's like 4 times. No, it's more than that. It's like 6 times as much. So 6 times the requirement for twice the reward. And then chase for 800 seconds versus 180 seconds. So that is like 4 times as much for double. Right? It doesn't make any damn sense to me. And then they drop the La Fagata in the middle of the event. Right? Now, again, carry survivors over 800 meters for 10,000 blood points. Where did we see that? Remember, it was down here. Carry survivor for over 800 for 500 meters for 10,000. 500 meters, 10,000. 800 meters, 10,000. So they just added 300 meters for the same reward. So you do this one and then you got to do it again. Same thing here. Sacrifice or kill 15 survivors or repair 15 generators. I'll let you determine what you think is a harder one. Killing 15 survivors or finishing 15 generators. This is a non-point. So this is the next one. We have sacrifice or kill 7 survivors for 10,000. We had to do that for 15 of them to get 10,000. Now it's 7. Right? Okay. So we had to do double, and now we get to do half. Okay, this doesn't make sense. These things don't make sense. Now this one, be chased for 300 seconds for 10,000, or chase for 1,200 seconds. So these are just being multiplied randomly for the same reward, right? These, just look at it. 30 seconds, 5,000. Where is it? 200 seconds, 10,000. 300 seconds, 10,000. It's just chase for 180 seconds, 5,000. Chase for 800 seconds, 10,000. Chase for 1,200 seconds, 10,000. Right? It's like, it's nothing. It's nothing. You're doing so much for nothing. Now this right here this is the biggest slap in the face to me. Survivors, right? They had to heal survivors 3 million times. You, as the player, only need to do it 2 times. 3 million heals. That was done within like the first few hours, because that is a ridiculous metric for survivors to have to do, because they have to heal. So it doesn't take any time at all. Killers. have to hook survivors 175 million times. Each individual killer needed to do 10. As you see, I've done 439 trying to help push this up because this is ridiculous. It's still not done. This was done the first fucking day. This is still not done. And, like, do they really think that killers are hooking survivors that much? Right? So if you took the 175 million and divided that by 10, because each person can only contribute 10, it would take 17.5 million people to do this. 17.5 million people. If they just did the bare minimum. If they just did the 10, that's how many it would take. Clearly, we're not doing, as killer players, just the 10. And we still are not done with 5 days left. And again, I'm going to say it again. This was done the first day. This La Fagata is a 2-week event. This is done the first day. We're on beyond the first week, and we're still not done as killer. This, they haven't even been able to achieve in 2.5 weeks to just have people play 100 million matches. Just play 100 million, right? No other requirement other than finish a banquet trial. This one is 175 million. I don't know where they get their numbers. This one you get 20,000 blood points for doing, which is all of that for this. I understand that your personal contribution to it isn't much. Like, you don't need to do much. You just do 5. But people like myself have done way more than 5 to push this number along. And I'm hoping that this actually counts into this. Same with this. I hope this actually counts into this. I have no way of knowing. But this is at least 150 million blood points, which this one was 150 million blood points for doing nothing. This is 150 million blood points for doing a lot. So this is not worth this at all. And neither is this. It's like, it just doesn't make sense. So that was my spiel. That's me talking about the disparity. These are the things that are bothering me specifically about this event and the way they're choosing to, I guess, track, enforce playstyle. Not necessarily playstyle, but like what you have to do in order to achieve blood crumbs. I can't even call them blood points anymore. They're blood crumbs. It's like you do all this for nothing. But anyways, that's about all I got to say on that. So the quests are just bad. They're uneven and skewed so that survivors can do them really quick. And then killers have to like bang their head against the wall to even hope that they can finish them. And another thing I want to talk about is how lazy they got with this new archives. It started out really, really cool, and then they just clearly got lazy, and it boggles my mind. So this first one was pretty cool. You got to inspect it. This was closed, right? So originally this was sealed. You got to look at the envelope. and then you got to crack open the seal, and then it opened, and then you got to read it, right? There's all the zoom in, zoom out, right? This like 3D, like it feels like the some of the old Resident Evil inspection kind of things, right? It's just floating in there, which is whatever, right? Then the next one was this police log, right? And as you can see, it's a folder, and then when you interact with it, it opens. Wow, really cool, right? So it gives you some like interactivity other than just spinning the fucking thing around, right? And then there's a picture of the temple that is in the maps, right? The temple tile. And then this is all redacted, so it just reads as nothing, right? This one has audio of this banquet, right? So there's an audio thing, and it's just a picture. You can't click on it. It doesn't do anything. And on the back, there's this little, I don't know, letter note, right? So, okay, that's kind of cool. It's weird that you can't interact with it other than spinning it around. Like, it would be cool if you click something and something happened, but no, right? You just hear the audio attached to this picture. Cool. This one, it was, this mouth was closed, right? And this little liquid in there, um, you could just look at it and then you'd click on the mouth and it opened and there was a little vial in here. And then the vial became the next thing, right? You can spin it around and you can hear the liquid, right? That's it. You can't open it, you can't do nothing, you can just hear the liquid, right? And Polly had said that you can see a reflection in it, if I remember correctly. Um, I don't know. Like, it could just be the atmosphere or whatever, but there's nothing special. It's just makes noise. And this was kind of cool, but I wish it was did more. So it just looks like a champagne bucket until you turn it around, and then you go, oh, and then you realize there's all this stuff in it, finger, I don't know, eyeball, guts, right? And it makes a sound. And then this bottle actually clangs on the side, which is cool. But these handles, they have no physics really because where was it? It was like here, or maybe they fixed it. They were clipping through at one point. Yeah, so I think they did fix it. Yeah, they did. Because at one point this handle would just phase through and just go through this. So at least they fixed that, but still can't interact with anything. It's just noisy and sloppy. And this is like solid piece. You know, I mean it's cool. It's whatever, but you can tell that this is just a solid piece that is on like a axis that you can move. Right? Nothing on it. It's just oh that's gross. Same thing with this, right? It's just guts and has a sound effect and there's a splurging, but there's nothing for you to interact with. There's nothing. You can't do anything to it. Can't explore it. Can't try to look in the guts for something. Nope. It's just this is just all it is. That's it. Now this one, when you go to it, you hear Trix laughing, and Trix was the, you host of the old event that they got rid of. But you can't interact with this either. These things float because it's like I don't know, taped together really poorly, and I don't know. But that you can't do anything to this, right? You just look at it. Just look at the paper. And then you get this, which is literally nothing. It's just, this is it. This is literally nothing. It's just this picture with it bleeding through to the other side on this piece of paper, and that's it. So, like, they put all this in here, and you can't do anything. It's just like a view gallery, which is boring. I thought this was going to be something. I think a lot of people had hopes that this was going to be an interactive thing because there's a word right here where it says interact, and you can't interact with anything. So why even have interact? And we've got one more. They might add a couple more because it showed one last time, then they added three more. The little things they're okay, I guess. Like the little blurbs, but it's just it's nonsensical. I'm sure there's a point to it, but it just feels boring. It doesn't feel like anything. At least with the other archive, the one that we've had forever, right? In these tomes. Remember these? You're given a challenge. You have to do the challenge to achieve part of this collection, to
He
get part of
moves
the
through the death
story
and decay of the void.
that it
He doesn't remember
tells
his
you.
name. Everything's a blur.
And then there's video, right? And then it like devolved into this thing where you just get it. You don't need to do nothing, and you just get the picture, and then you get a little blurb, and a picture, and a blurb, picture, blurb, blah, blah, blah. But you don't need to do anything for any of this. It just comes in at a certain date. Like, these are just dropping in as the date that they say they will. And it's just so it's boring. It takes away something for you to do, right? There's nothing for you to do. And then after, if you're like me and you've done everything, you've done all the challenges, all the tomes, all the trophies. It's I don't know. It becomes like, what's the point other than just playing to play? And like my current thing, right, is I'm working on getting everybody to Prestige 6 because that's when everyone gets the bloody clothes now. And after that, I'm not going to really have a task that I'm going for. I already have a P100, so I don't need to worry about trying to get another one. It's not like I'm not going to stop playing, but it's not no longer a goal of mine. And it would have been a goal to try to get more P100s, but they've been so stingy with the blood points that it's like, okay, well, it's going to take me forever, and I don't care to grind for the rest of my life. Like, if they made it to where you could get, I don't know, in an event like this, maybe naturally get someone to like P50, right? Just by playing the event, that'd be pretty cool, but that's not really how it works. You have to play a lot to get that. And there are 96 characters in the game now. To get one character P100 is somewhere between 100 million and 150 million blood points. They only gave us 15 million in stuff compensation, like the 10-year anniversary. Here's 10 million. Their thing was messed up. Here's 5 million. And then they want to starve people of cakes so that you can't naturally get more blood points on your own. It's going to take 1 billion blood points to prestige 100 everybody. And nobody's goal is to prestige 100 everybody. It's to get their favorite people to P100, and then they'll branch off from there, right? But if it's like you're starving for blood points, then it makes it less and less something you want to even try to do. So that's it for now. And hopefully you learned something from this video, and leave some comments if you agree with me. And if you don't agree with me, leave some comments and maybe we can have a dialogue. But that'll be it for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.